Hello, everyone. I'm Moon Knight, I think. I only serve one god. His name is Khonshu. Don't bother healing me. Back again? Great. Richards and Stark think they know everything. But when man plans, the gods laugh. Sorry. No unks for you. Now I sorta wish I hadn't worn all white.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have something slightly different, at least different to what I've been uploading recently. I used to do a lot of these Baldur's Gate 3 build guides, but I kind of stopped after I fell out of the game for a bit, kind of got burnt out. But now we're back with a more thematic guide, and this is definitely a more for fun build, which I mainly uploaded like honor mode ready builds, but now I just felt like doing something slightly different. So today I decided to make a build around the Marvel character Moon Knight. I tried to make the character look kind of like him with the limitations of the character creator, although I do have some mods, so I'll put those in the description. I kind of made like this drow human thing. And I tried to make the eyes glow with the makeup. I don't know if it really worked. It kind of only works with the armor. If you look at him with the armor, kind of works. Like kind of almost sort of Moon Knight. I don't know. I tried my best. But I'm now going to go into the build. So hopefully it'll be a build that you guys could use if you ever wanted to play a character like Moon Knight. Or, you know, we're just straight up playing as him. This is just kind of a thematic build, not meant to be super like solo the game, honor mode, complete, you know, running through the game. It's just kind of a thematic build, so it might not be the most optimal. However, you could probably get away with it. It's not bad at all. So let me get into the leveling here. As you can see, the final build is going to be 3 Warlock, 4 Rogue, and 5 Ranger. If you were to play through this with the actual game, I'd probably recommend taking either Ranger or Warlock first, although it really just depends on how you like to play, because it's kind of like an awkward leveling path a bit if you take the Warlock, because you're only taking 3 levels, and you don't have a Charisma stat, so it's just kind of weird. Like, you know, if you hit level 5 in your multi-class, you have extra attack. It's like a whole thing. Honestly, I'd say just level it however you see fit. If it gets you to this final spread, then that's great. However, if I were playing this, I'd probably just start with the Ranger, because it gets you extra attack at level 5, and it'll make things easier. However, thematic-wise, I'd probably just go Warlock, Rogue, Ranger. So let me go over some of the things we have here. For our feats, we have 2 feats because we have 4 Rogue and 4 Rogue and 4 Ranger. I took a Dexterity feat improvement, and I took Sharpshooter. Pretty simple for the feats. The main thing about it is that because of the cloth that we have, we're getting +2 dex, so we hit 20 dex anyway. So I didn't really need 2. These are the spells I took for the Warlock portion. For a Warlock, the Eldritch Invocations are Devil's Sight, and it doesn't really matter what the last one is, I forgot. I think it's the Mage Armor one. Yeah. It doesn't really matter. We're here for Devil's Sight. We're here for Devil's Sight, and we're here for Darkness, because you can see in the darkness because of the moon or whatever. We love the moon and all that. And for the Rogue, we took Assassin. It just makes it so you crit. Any successful attack roll against surprise creatures is a crit. You know, Assassin is very good. And it pairs actually well with the Warlock. Another reason why I wanted to go with the Warlock is because of Mortal Reminder. Mortal Reminder states that when you land a critical hit against a creature, that creature and any enemies must succeed a Wisdom saving throw or become frightened until their next turn. So that doesn't even state, you know, when you think of Warlock, you think of Eldritch Blast and spells, but it's just any attack. So you could use like arrows and frighten people and crit them to start a combat. And I thought that would be pretty thematic. I feel like that's how, you know, you're just going about your day, and then all of a sudden, the moon. I'd be pretty scared too. That's all I'm saying. And you know, for Ranger, we have Gloomstalker Ranger. These are spells I took. Pass Without Trace just for stealth. Misty Step because it's Misty Step, and then a bunch of other spells. I'm really just here for Dread Ambusher. You also get Superior Dark Vision. You know, this Moon Knight is a human. He would not have Dark Vision normally. I still have my fault, guys. I got some of my quality of life mods still on, so I have Long Strider, Dark Vision, and Speak with Animals. I bet you guys are all devastated. No, it's not canon. Moon Knight can't talk to animals. Nah, I'm just... Okay, so, yeah, Ranger, Rogue, Warlock, reactions. You know, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I didn't go over. At least with the classes. I'm in my older videos, I just go straight through the leveling. However, I'm trying a new thing where I just kind of go over it on this screen because, one, it's all, you know, nicely laid out here. And two, I felt like those were getting, like, long and dragged out for a bunch of stuff that I feel like if you're clicking on a Baldur's Gate 3 guide video, you might already know or might not want to see all of that. So I want to try this method of getting it out more like quick and efficient and, you know, less, you know, hassle, I guess. And also the level up screens are kind of buggy sometimes. I don't know. They get wacky. Like if you go click through it too fast, the UI messes up, and you know they might lie to you with some spell save DCs. But yeah, this is what we have in terms of the build. This is the stat spread at level 1. This started at 16, and yeah, 16 goes to 18, and it's 20 because of the gear, and then we have sharpshooter. I'm trying to think, is there anything else I did not cover? I think that would be it. These are the proficiencies, since this is more of a thematic character roleplay build. You know, maybe this is something you would take into account. That's what kind of why I put the intelligence here, so you get a history proficiency, because Moon Knight, at least in the show, he's all about his Egyptian history or whatever. Pretty cool stuff, you know. He's like, ooh, the moon. I don't know. I'm jaded on the guy. I fight him in Marvel Rivals, and I'm like, dude, why are you summoning the moon every 4 seconds? Like, I'm good. I'm really good. He's still cool, though. Not gonna lie. You have excellent sleight of hand. In hindsight, maybe I should have put these into stealth. I'd actually highly recommend you boost the stealth instead of sleight of hand. Both of these expertise and the proficiency should be in stealth. But I did not do that for some reason. Yeah, and then, you know, you have pretty good initiative. I feel like that would make sense. I didn't really want to make a build focused on, like, getting as many actions as possible, because, like, Moon Knight's not really the fastest guy in the world. He's kind of, you know, hulking about. There was a version of this build where I wanted to go more into Rogue and not even have the Gloomstalker extra attack and stuff, but I think this one is more thematic and less ass, because, God, Rogues get fucking nothing past level 4, do they? It's very, very sad. So yeah, these are the build, and now I will be getting into the gear, which is, you know, if you're used to at least my videos, you know, at least the gear I pick out is usually the most viable. Here it is mix of both, you know, what's the best, and then also what would be thematically appropriate, slash, like, you know, what would be like a cool thing to do. Like, for example, the boots I have are just the Dark Justiciar boots. If you wanted to, there are so many better boots to put on. However, Moon Knight would be able to do that. Moon Knight loves shadow teleportation. You kidding me? Like, That's fucking sick. Because the moon, or whatever. I don't know. Oh, that's too close. I don't know. I need patch rate to come out for a goddamn camera mode. Everybody has patch rate except for me. That's what I came to the conclusion of. Anyway, so those the boots, shadow teleportation. You know, it's also just not bad. You know, are you ever gonna complain about being able to teleport? I don't think so. I guess we'll go top to bottom here. Stalker gloves. I always found these to be interesting. Um, get +1 to initiative, which is always good, and then your sneak attack deals an additional 1 to 4 force damage. I feel like these would be better if you got them early, but I think these are like an Act 3 item, which is unfortunate. But you know, I think it's fitting. You know, with sneak attack, hit things, you get extra force, you get the initiative. I think it just works. And then graceful cloth. You know, this is one of the things where I'm like, oh, you know, it's a mix of what's thematic and what's good because, you know, obviously the cloth that gives you +2 dex would be pretty good, wouldn't it? And also, it kind of, you know, if you squint a bit, it kind of looks like Moon Knight's armor, especially when it's all white like this. By the way, the dye I used is this white wing dye. I think there's a white dye in the game that's just this, but mine's called the white wing dye because of a mod that adds like wings to the game. I'm pretty sure it's the same white dye as the one in the game. It just comes bundled in. But I'll put them on the description anyway, just in case. What else do we got here? We got the cloak. The cloak is the while hiding, the number you need to roll a critical hit is reduced by 1. I think that's, you know, pretty thematic. And also pretty good, because, you know, you're going to be hiding a lot. You also have a high stealth with Pass Without Trace, and more from your class if you weren't an idiot and actually put it into stealth and not sleight of hand. But, you know, everybody makes mistakes. You know, it happens. We got the Covert Cowl here, which is the... I'm not realizing the exact same effect as the Shade Slayer Cloak. And I could only assume this effect can stack. Okay, yeah, so these do stack together. So I also picked this because it feels like it's the only headgear in the game that could kind of give me the Moon Knight look. But you know, that was the more important thing to me. The skill is kind of a bonus. Like if I would have just used a blanket headgear if I had to. I don't think it really matters that much. But this is the closest I could get it to look like him. I mean, I'm also just not that artistically talented, so if someone could probably do a better job with me, especially using more mods. But hey, this is what I came up with. So in terms of like the amulet and the rings, I just put the Misty Step amulet. You get this very early in Act 1, and hey, you know, like I said before, will you complain about being able to teleport? I think the answer is no. Now you have 2 of them, and you have spell slots. You're never catching him. And it's not because he's running fast, it's just because he's like, nah. I'd rather just go over there. I think that's just kind of thematic, because, you know, he's like, ooh, all stealthy and stuff. Anyways, here's the risky ring. No, I don't really have much to explain here. It's just the risky ring. You're a rogue. You want advantage. You probably don't need it. However, I'm just a baby, and I like when my accuracy is high. So I also think it's kind of thematic for him to have disadvantage on saving throws, because like, you know, the moon. You know, he's not Spider-Man. He don't got no spider sense. You know, he's gonna be doing his own thing, and then someone comes up behind him. What's gonna happen? Or even just like oh, you think a Moon Knight would be the most resistant to spells? I don't think so. I will say a lot of this is also taking advantage of not taking advantage, just like based on how he plays in Marvel Rivals. He's kind of like a not like slow, but he's like a bulky, not bulky. Fuck, what word am I looking for? He's just a big dude. I don't know what I'm fucking saying anymore. I'm just gonna fucking keep going with the fucking build. Anyway, Shadow Cloaked Ring. The wearer's weapon and unarmed attacks deal an additional 1d4 damage against lightly or heavily obscured creatures. You know, it kind of goes with the whole thing we're building here. I kind of want to just get into the weapons. And doing research into this build made me realize how little light clubs are in the game, because I wanted to wield 2 of them. Because Moon Knight, specifically Mr. Knight, one of his alter egos, has dual clubs. So I'm like, okay, I'll wield dual clubs. But there's like, this is like the only special club in the game. I'm like light club. There's like great clubs, but those are 2-handed. But there's like this, and there's like a +1 club, a regular club, and then like a goblin club. Like there's like no light clubs. So I just ended up putting a dagger in the offhand. The Dolar Armorous. When you land a critical hit with a weapon or unarmed attack, it deals an initial 7 damage. This can stack really high with stuff like arrow of many targets. If if you go into a combat, surprise everyone, arrow of many targets, that's 7, and then you're hitting multiple people. So say you're hitting 4 people, it's 7 times 4. You know, that's a lot of additional damage at the end of the day. I haven't really played around with this like in my actual runs, but it sounds really good. And I know it's good. I just haven't used it like personally in like a lot of my runs, but cause like by the time you get it, it's like Act 3. You kind of have like an idea of what you want to build. So I just never really found a place for it in my builds, but I saw it while looking for like stuff for Moon Knight, and I was like, oh, I could use this here. This is pretty good. And then finally the bow. I guess I never really explained why. Okay, so Moon Knight doesn't have a bow. He doesn't really use bows. However, since this is Baldur's Gate, you have to take some creative liberties if you want to build a character like Moon Knight. Originally, my first idea was, what if I threw daggers? The build was ass, and it didn't work, and it was annoying to play, so to keep picking up your daggers, and it didn't really, fit the idea or the idea of Moon Knight or anything. It just didn't really work out how I wanted it to, and I was like, okay, I might just have to use. I didn't know what to do. I was going to scrap it, but I was like, hey, you know what is in the game? Arrow of many targets. And arrow of many targets kind of gives me like the same vibes of like how Moon Knight's projectiles are in Marvel Rivals, where they like bounce off of people and then you could bounce them off the onks or whatever. So I was like, hey, wouldn't it also be thematic if Moon Knight could, create his own darkness with an arrow, and now you're in darkness, and you can, you can use your imagination a bit. These specialty arrows could be thrown, knock people away. These are just some examples I have, humanoid slaying, undead slaying for sure. I thought that was also pretty thematic, because he's like, apparently in the comics right now, he's kind of like a fucking Ghostbuster, which it sounds awesome. He's just Ghostbuster Moon Knight. I think that's cool, but I'm also not into comics like that, so correct me if I'm wrong. Also, Arrow of Ilmater, preventing healing. Oh, Nocturne's not here anymore. That's tough. Yeah, I think... Whoa, what happened to my... Oh, that's my cape. So what the hell was that? Yeah, so that's why we're using bows. Because specifically Arrow of Many Targets, combined with the Warlock, Mortal Reminder, and the Assassin Ambush, I feel like it fits really well, and it all works together surprisingly well. And I think it's just fun. It's a fun idea for Moon Knight. The only thing that this build doesn't have, and if you want to fit it in, be my guest, I don't know how, though, I tried, is that I wanted to try to do Moonbeam stuff, but I was like, oh, Cleric doesn't really make sense, because, he doesn't pray to his god. He's more of a warlock, where he gets his powers from an entity, but he kind of works for the entity. He's like, it fits way more with a warlock. Like, Khonshu fits way more with, like, warlock stuff than cleric stuff. And also, Moonbeam is, like, it feels like it's a radiant damage, and it's not, like, darkness Moonbeam. It's just, like, it feels, like, too light, cleric-y, I guess. Just, like, It feels too, like, good, where Moon Knight is more like, ooh, I'm in the shadows, but I'm also, like, Moon Knight, and he's also like, ooh, you know what's the worst part about having a white costume? The blood stains. He's like an edgy guy. I couldn't see him using the version of Moon Knight, Moonlight, in this game. No, not Moonlight, fucking Moonbeam. Jesus. And I couldn't really find anything that did like the same effect as his ult from Marvel Rivals. I wanted to do a clip of the moon, but I couldn't really find it because it just doesn't really exist. Unless you're doing like the only thing I could find similar was like Ice Storm, but like that's Ice Storm. It didn't really like fit. I don't know. So this is the solution I came up with. This is the build idea. If you have any suggestions, you could leave them in the comments on how to improve this build, either like, you know, gameplay wise or thematic wise. And yeah, let's get into the gameplay section. I'm just gonna show off how to play it, like, you know, how an average encounter would go, and you know that there is still power in this build. I am going on about how it is a thematic build first. However, it's still not bad. It's also, you know, not really. I wouldn't say like, hey, solo honor mode with this build right now. Well, actually, you probably could. You could probably solo honor mode with a lot of shit. People have beaten this game at level 1. But, you know, I think it's thematic and it works. I need to stop rambling. You know, I just had that whole spiel about like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, cut out like that like leveling portion because it takes up too much time. It's too slow, and I just start rambling about nonsense. I'm gonna go into the gameplay part now, and I'll see you in that part. All right, welcome to gameplay. Why did I fucking start it like that? Here's my favorite place to go beat up random guys. However, I lied. I can stay here because normally the issue with this spot for testing is that I think it's this one has counterspell, and it's really annoying if you're trying to show off spells. I've had it happen to me before in many videos, but the spell we're casting is going to be out of combat. So we're just going to do that. We are going to cunning action hide. That's not cunning action, whatever. And then, hey, do you want to see something hilarious? Do I have sharpshooter on? I don't have sharpshooter actually here. I'm such a professional, guys. You guys definitely came here for professionalism above all else, for sure. And then we'll just put this here in case we need it. I probably won't, though. I can't put this in the hotbar yet, right? Yeah, okay. And this guy has a strong chance of maybe kind of sort of dying. But he will be pretty frightened. Boom. And we can add sneak attack. And he's dead. And nobody saw it. And now, I want to see if I can... I'm going to hit the Arrow of Ilmater for the anti-heal. Do this. I want to hopefully trigger a combat, but my stealth is just too good. We will cunning action hide, skip the turn. They're going to look for me. They're not going to find me because that dark cloud on the bridge definitely doesn't look suspicious at all. I'm going to step out of the dark cloud, actually. Because I kind of... Actually, no. I want to trigger combat. It's kind of hard because these aren't red units. So, they're not going to, like, fight me instantly. They won't get the surprise round. Boom. Die. Sneak attack. Stealth failed. Okay, now we're in combat. Yeah, so none of these guys are going to be surprised, unfortunately. However, that guy just exploded. So that's pretty cool. I mean, now we have our action and bonus action back. We still have our darkness up, and we could just sit here, kind of just pelt arrows at everyone. What are they going to do about it? Go here, step in the darkness, hide. Arrest them! Ah! Ooh, oh, yo, this guy's cooking. Oh, you're the healer. Okay. And then, see, I just took 0 damage because they did not attack me. I wish I had Construct Slaying right about now. And hit the multi-target on this Steel Watcher. He's gonna bounce to the guys over there. Nice. And you know what? I'm actually gonna do. I'm gonna hide. And if nothing interesting happens, I actually have an idea for an encounter where I could show off the surprise round. Because it happened to me earlier when I was trying to go there for the little section before. So now I guess this is a good time to show off the fact that you can escape encounters very easily. Because you can... Misty Step over to this roof. Invisibility. With a Warlock spell slot, by the way. I know it says I didn't have level 2s, but you could use a Warlock spell slot as well. They have no idea where I am now. And now we're out of combat. Are those guys? Yeah, they're still yellow units. Okay. So now we're out of combat. You know, for the sake of, I'm gonna just apply this long rest.
That took the edge off.
For the easy cheat. Shout out to easy cheat, by the way. Best convenience mod ever? Question mark. Where's my short rest Misty Step from my gear? There we go. Now I want to use a spell slot, so we can go over here. Misty Step. Is there any way to just get closer? I'm probably gonna cut this all out. But if I don't, I'm sorry to everyone watching. Don't click off. Trust. This is about to be the coolest shit ever. You're gonna get to see the goob frightening. For sure. You just gotta run there. This is double speed, by the way. Is it? I don't know. Sometimes I have the double speed mod. Not double speed mod. It's like a configure. Oh my god! Wait, I almost started it. I'm a bot. So invisibility. Because these guys are red units. Yes. So we're going to sneak our way in here. Perfect. We're going to wait for some of them to get in the building. Actually, we can... How's this going to work? This. Okay, perfect. And do this. Boom. Sneak attack. As you can see, since they were all surprised, they're now also all frightened for a turn. And that one just died. That one just exploded. So now we have this one left. Let me just check. We do have dark vision, but not magical darkness. So what I'm going to do now, since those guys are already surprised, Arrow of Darkness. Now she's blinded, and now I got another turn. So I guess I could just do this and kill her. Goodbye. Now I have extra attack, because the first attack was from the first little arrow burst, and then it refreshes the action because you're an assassin. We will just arrow many targets again. It didn't even hit that one that time. But that's fine. That's just a-okay. Watch, I'll pass the stealth check. Okay. Doesn't matter, they're surprised. Just kidding, they're not surprised. But they're frightened. I got hit with Bone Chill. Oh no, I'm devastated. Die. The moon! Holy shit, the moon is haunting you today. Die. Motherfucker. That's fine. Anyway. He's not gonna find me. He doesn't find shit, he found me. God damn it. I know he's right in front of my face. I kinda wanna hit him with an arrow anyway. 60? Actually. Or I could just be smart and Misty Step away. Let's hit this so he can't heal. Sneak attack. I probably should have waited for this, for sneak attack. Yeah, dude, if I had waited, I probably would have killed. He's on 3 health. I'm not worried. Yeah, he has to dash to me because he's a dwarf. He doesn't reach me. You know what? Let's do for funsies. I don't even have my main attack bind. That's funny. I'll put it over here. We're going to hit him with the club for funsies. Bro got hit with the Moon Knight club. And now they're all dead. That is Moon Knight. The moon truly does haunt you. Also, had another idea for a synergy. If you have, you know, greater invisibility, this would also be a very good recipient of greater invisibility. So yeah, that is the build. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I will be back to making Baldur's Gate content. The last video I uploaded was, I don't even know how long ago, but you guys seem to really like it. So hopefully I'll be back to that. Hopefully patch 8 comes out soon. It feels like everyone has it except for me. But yeah, that's the Moon Knight build. Let me if there's any other characters you would want me to make a build around, leave a comment on that. I'm happy to take requests about anything, whether it's just like a honor mode build, like, hey, build around Way of 4 Elements Monk because I want to lose, or build around, I don't know, any TV show, video game character, anyone. Yeah, I'm down to do anything. I'm back. We're out of the funk. We're here. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.